Madam President, I rise today to support the Conrad Gregg amendment. Our economic recovery and our nation's long-term economic health are at risk. Americans are watching and waiting for Congress and the administration to do the right thing and not accept the status quo. Deficits and debt will rise to unprecedented levels in the coming decades without major changes in our fiscal policies. As of today, our national debt has reached a staggering $12.3 trillion. It has continued to climb at an average of $3.89 billion per day since fall of 2007. Madam President, I'm not complaining. Like you, we're freshmen here, but we got dealt a deck of cards, and we have a responsibility to take care of it and handle it. If we don't address this and the federal debt and the skyrocketing from 53% of our gross domestic product at the end of fiscal year 2009 to more than 300% of GDP in 2050 if we take no action. That would be almost 3 times the existing record, which was set back when the debt had reached 122% of GDP at the end of World War II. That would leave the economy vulnerable to the significant harm. Since 2001, we have acted as though debts and deficit did not matter. The national debt has nearly doubled since then because of the way we have paid for things like the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and the Bush tax schemes. Congress of the past dealt with these by not paying for them, and that has made the recession worse, and we are on track to double it yet again. Our economic future is on the line, and we must work together to fight for stability and a solution. The fiscal situation is wreaking havoc in my own state of Alaska. Alaska's unemployment rate is at a record level of 8.4%. Our economic security truly is at risk. China is our #1 creditor and has put us on notice regarding their concerns about American economic decisions. What would happen if China and other foreign nations decided that would no longer engage in financial relationships with the United States? The answer is frightening. Higher taxes and interest rates. To my friends across the aisle, let's put aside partisan politics and do what's right for the American people. Many of you are preparing to vote against raising the debt limit, as well as the Conrad Gregg amendment and others. In fact, six of my Republican friends withdrew their support for this amendment this past Friday, just 24 hours before the Obama administration endorsed it. What does that say to the American people? What does it say to the American family trying to balance their family budget? It says politics as usual. I know my own constituents expect me to play by the same rules they do, to be responsible and pay the bills. I remind all of you that increasing the debt limit does not authorize a single cent of new spending. It simply enables the government to pay the bills and prevents the truly dire consequences that would cripple us if the nations were ever in the position of being in default. You have a unique opportunity to show Americans that you are willing to put aside your political differences for economic security and the future of this country. I call upon my 6 colleagues to reconsider and join me in doing the right thing. Madam President, Americans are frustrated by the political games that are played here in Washington. I stand before you wondering if some of my friends across the aisle are suffering from amnesia. How is it that so many of my Republican colleagues voted 7 times to raise the debt limit when they were in the majority and voted at least that many times for policies and spending that were not paid for, but today stand prepared to vote against America simply paying their bills? I call upon my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support the Conrad Gregg amendment. And if that fails, other options that I know are being prepared by Senator Begich and others. It is critical that we deal with this deficit. Again, I'm not complaining. I got elected. I ran for this office. We were dealt a deck of cards. And it's a responsibility of this Congress to step up to the plate, pay the bills, and look at the long-term future. Senator Bennett laid out his family and his child who doesn't want to pay the bill of the future. We have a responsibility, and it's a painful responsibility, because the bills have mounted, and there has been a lack of that over the last decade plus. But it's incumbent upon us to reach across the aisle to figure out the right solution for the long term. And I thank the Senator for yielding time, and Madam President, I yield back the remainder of my time.